Hello. Thank you very much, Alexander. Good evening, everybody. I am very happy to be here with you. I'm open to your suggestions if you prefer that we just chat about how we develop organizational agility and adaptability. I will be happy to have this conversation. If you prefer, I can tell you a little bit about KPPM. Why KPPM, why we have defined it, and what it consists of. And afterwards, we can discuss all your questions, of course. So I'm really open to any suggestion. I will enjoy the conversation for sure. So just let me know and I will adjust. What would be your preference? To start with questions, to start with a little presentation? Maybe you can say it in the chat, what you would prefer. Or maybe we can start with just asking the question why you joined this this meetup, and if you have some questions that you want to get the answer during this 1 hour and a half today, I will see if I can answer it. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, so I have prepared a short presentation about the model, and let me tell you what I have brought to this meetup, and afterwards we will chat. Okay, Adrian, I joined because I have little familiarity. Okay, let me little with the model. Okay, so maybe it's a good idea to start. Want to hear about past experience on the model? Great. Okay, so let me share the screen. I'm going to show you this presentation, which I have prepared. It's a short one, not too much, not too long. Okay, how to develop organizational agility and adaptability. So when we talk with companies, especially project organizations, how they feel, what drives them on the road to improving their agility and adaptability. Usually we hear something like this. Okay, we have lots of delays of projects. We want to improve them. We want to reduce time to market. We are not predictable. Our estimates are wrong. We have too many changes to priorities, changes to the scope, to the requirements. The communication or the coordination of our projects is difficult, so we want to improve this as well. So all these kind of difficulties or challenges make especially project organizations look for alternative approaches to management in order to achieve successfully the objectives of their projects and programs and portfolios, up to strategic initiatives. So when we listen to them, typically we see that they decide to make a list of all these challenges and then trying to define actions for each one of the challenges. But in the end, what happens is that they end up with a quite long list of actions, and they simply don't have time for all of them. And because in addition to all these actions, of course, they have to run the project work. First thing is project work, because their customers are expecting them to deliver the results, the products or the services. However, if you look at all these challenges, you will see that they are not isolated challenges. They are connected. For example, if there are changes in project objectives, this leads to changes to other project objectives, changes to the scope of the project. If you see that they feel that they have inaccurate estimates, logically this means to lack of predictability. But some of them says, okay, maybe we do not collect the right metrics, and therefore we don't have the right estimates. And if we don't have the right estimates, clearly this leads to delays. Similarly, if they complain that they don't have visibility of the status of work, therefore they do not communicate clearly what is the situation, and they need lots of meetings, but they don't have time for meetings. So they are in kind of circle of resolving these problems in an ineffective manner that in fact creates again the same problem. So you can see in this way that all these challenges in the project organizations in fact are connected, and they have a mutual joint impact on the on-time delivery of the projects. And all projects that are delayed, they suffer over budgets as well. And if we have delayed projects and extra costs, logically the business results are not good. The problem with these challenges is not only that they are connected and they combine their impact on the on-time delivery of the projects. The biggest problem is that some of these factors create closed loops with other ones. For example, if a project is delayed, it leads to changing the priorities for this project. Changing the priorities for one project leads to changing priorities of other projects, and then they are delayed until again these priorities are changed. So we stay in this loop of delays and changing priorities. Similarly, similar situation happens with the defects and with the errors. When the projects are delayed, the stress level increases, people under stress start developing errors or defects. And when they develop errors, this is an additional work that leads to changing priorities because they have to make space for fixing the defects, or the defects create additional bureaucratic work. This increases the workload for the people. So again, we are in such vicious circle. And the question is, how can we get out of these vicious circles? It looks like a trap, and we are wondering, or the organizations are wondering how to get out of this, the trap of the vicious circle. So if you look at these challenges, it's quite logical to think, okay, which are the challenges that are at the bottom of these tree of interconnected challenges? So if we look at the first one, or one of them, it's lack of visibility. So can we think of something that provides visibility of the real status of work continuously to all the people who need this information? So if we can resolve this problem, maybe we are going to resolve almost automatically the challenges that are at the upper levels on this tree. Similarly, with this high and unbalanced workload, in fact, this is one of the root causes for quite a good amount of the challenges. So maybe if we understand how much our capacities, especially in organizations who are doing knowledge work, and it's difficult to measure, it's difficult to see how much the capacity of the organization of a team is. So maybe we will be able to resolve these challenges that are at the upper levels of the tree. So, or if we can start managing the flow in such a way that the work doesn't stop, it doesn't create additional loops for reworking, reviewing, which is all additional work. So we can again help bringing all these three down here. Okay. With respect to the metrics, okay. So if we have this problem with metrics, maybe we have to think about which are these metrics that really help us make accurate decisions, and if possible, collect these metrics without any additional work, without having to collect these metrics manually. And everything related to lack of coordination, lack of poor communication can be addressed by means of short feedback loops. So if we summarize, organizations are looking for agility, are looking for adaptability to these frequent changes in the context of their projects, and they are trying different approaches. Typically, they try approaches like hiring more people, reorganizing the entire organization, restructuring the organization, or trying to increase the productivity of the people However, how do you increase the productivity of the people if they are so much overloaded already? So it's rather impossible. So because all the organizations claim that they need greater agility and adaptability, let's think a little bit. What is agility, in fact? So when we say organizational agility, we understand that the organization is interested in moving forward towards their purpose, achieving their purpose, what they have defined as objective for them, overcoming all the obstacles that they meet on the road to this purpose. And if we want to overcome really all the obstacles and move forward toward our objectives, so the first thing that we need to develop in the organizations is the ability to obtain fast feedback about what is happening in their context. Whether there are some changes coming from their suppliers, whether there are some changes coming from the customers, whether there are changes coming from technology progress, whatever it is, but we first need to get fast feedback about what is happening. Because if we don't receive this fast feedback, naturally the reaction will be slow and we are not going to move faster towards our objective. So the second factor, the second element of the agility capability is the ability to take fast decisions. Of course, it is important to get fast feedback about what is happening in the environment of the organization, but if the organization is not capable to make fast decisions about the changed circumstances, again, the reaction will be slow and will be late. Okay. And the third element of agility, if we only think about what agility means, would be taking fast actions, because it's very nice if the organization has received fast feedback, have taken rapid decisions, but of course they have to react quickly. So that's about agility. So instead of thinking of what kind of methods we can apply just by the box, because we assume that if we apply a certain method, we are going to be agile, let's think how to provide this fast feedback, how to allow the organization make quick decisions and take fast actions. And with respect to adaptability, this is absolutely necessary nowadays, because if the circumstances in the business environment change, logically, if the company wants to survive and thrive in this new environment, they have to learn to adapt, to adjust their functions, the services that they provide, the products that they develop, to these new conditions that have developed. This means that the organization has to learn from their experience to be able to conclude very quickly how they can adapt appropriately their functions and to continue providing them in these new conditions. So these are when organizations focus on these 3-4 factors for developing their agility and adaptability, they progress a lot faster because they know what to focus on. Okay, so in fact, Kanban project and portfolio management is all about addressing these 4 factors for the organizations. Okay, and it is based on bodies of knowledge that exist for many years. Simply, we have not taken advantage of them until now. And the first one is systems thinking. Okay, so systems thinking is about understanding the organizational system and understanding the interrelationships of the organizations, of the elements of the organizations, in order to be able to direct and lead this organization towards this purpose and make decisions that help us, that guide the organization, what they have to change in the management of the entire organization if they wanted to progress in their desired direction as quickly as possible. So definitely we have to understand the organization as a system and make sure that all the elements, instead of running in different directions, go in the same direction, which is the purpose of the organization. So this systems thinking, this understanding of the organizations as a system is the first ingredient, which is part of the Kanban project and portfolio management. Second one, flow thinking. I just wonder whether you have made this exercise. Can you put in the chat whether you've made it, whether you know what I mean, just seeing the exercise? Okay, I don't see any comments in the chat. So let's make it. Okay, so you have these 3 projects. The first one is just to write down the numbers from 1 to 15, 1 to 3, up to 15. The second project is writing down the letters A, B, C, D until N. And the third project is writing down the Roman letters 1 to 3 again until 15. Okay, so these are 3 projects. There are 3 customers who are waiting for those 3 projects to be delivered as soon as possible. The customers are impatient as usual, and therefore, logically, the company decides to run them, the 3 of them, in parallel. Okay, and because the customers are going to expect some reporting about the status of the projects. Also, the management wants to know what is the progress of all these projects. For example, every Friday they might have a meeting and want to hear what is the status of the project. So logically, we are going to do the project like this. A little bit of the first one, a little bit of the second one, and a little bit of the third one. And then we come again to the first one, again to the second one, and again to the third one. Okay, so please do the projects like this, a little bit 3 by 3 of each one of the projects, 1 to 3, ABC, 1 to 3, and again 4, 5, 6, DEF, 4, 5, 6. And just measure the time it takes you to finish the 3 projects. Okay, and let me know just in a while how long it took you to finish the 3 projects. You can put it in the chat or just say it. How long was it? 57 seconds. Good. 52. Great. 48. Okay. 55. Okay. So it's about 48 and 55 seconds, right? Let's say on average something like 43. Okay. Yeah, good time. But we wonder whether we can improve this time. So let's make an experiment. And instead of doing the projects like this, 3 by 3, running the 3 projects in parallel, let's do it like this. We run the entire first project completely, 1 to 15, then all the letters from A to N, and then all Roman letters from 1 to 15. And again, we measure the time, and again, you tell us how long it took you. Okay, 38. Earlier, 48, Now 38. Excellent. Okay. The others? $37, good. From 57 to 43, 55 to 46. Okay, good. So now if we have to take a note of this, so it will be between 37 up to 46. Okay, so on average, it is about 40 seconds, right? So we had a reduction of approximately some 30% of the time, right? What happened? So these projects, you see, they do not require any special knowledge, any special experience, and only in changing the way of doing work, we can save some 30% of the time that it usually takes us. 30% of 5 days is about 1 day and a half. So what if you finish all your weekly work in about 3 days and a half, 4 days? Then you can have Friday for free. So it's not a bad idea to be able to learn how to reduce the time of doing work, because I'm sure that the second time you also noticed that you did the project in a calmer way, less stress. Okay, so, and again, when people work under stress, they make errors. Errors always appear in inappropriate situations. We never have planned, time for errors. So if we work as the second time, avoiding multitasking, we can finish the project faster, better, with less errors and with less stress for the people. And there is something more than just finishing these project faster, because the first time you finish the 3 projects just the last moment, right? It's true, you had 3 happy customers here. However, the second time you finished the 3rd project in some 30% less time. But the second one, the second project, you finished a lot earlier, and the first one even earlier. So for the second and for the first project, in fact, the reduction of time that it took you to deliver it was even larger than 30%. So these 2 customers should have been happier than the 3rd one, because they received their products and services a lot earlier. Okay, so flow thinking is all about creating a flow of work, a flow of results that helps the people deliver work faster, with less stress, and better quality. Okay, so this is the second ingredient of KPPM. The third ingredient is culture. We are talking a lot about culture, about agile culture, etc. However, changing culture, we all know that it is the most difficult part in the exercise with the organizations. Here I would like to mention our experience with a company which we started working with in September 2019. And I remember very well our first meeting with their CEO, who told us, we are interested in increasing the competitiveness of the business. We run a business and we want it to be competitive. This means that we have to improve our project management, but we understand that this requires a change in the culture. Therefore, we are interested in Kanban. So at that time, I was very busy with other things, and to that heading to that meeting, I was thinking that, yes, maybe I'm not going to have availability to work with them. However, when I had this conversation And I was so much impressed by their deep understanding that if we really want to improve the competitiveness of our business, we need to improve the project management, and this requires change in the culture. I said, yes, we have to work with them because this company really deserves our help to improve better results. So it is about changing the culture in the sense of how we think, how we behave, how we make decisions, what are our relationships with people within the teams, between departments, between different levels of the organization. So if we don't change this way of thinking and behaving, it's very difficult to run an entire organization towards their purpose quickly and overcoming all the obstacles that they meet on their way. So we really have to focus on this. So third ingredient of KPPM is creating a collaborative, purpose-driven culture and reinforcing this culture continuously by means of practices, by means of habits that we create in the organization. And the fourth ingredient is using Kanban systems. Why Kanban systems? Because the Kanban systems are, I would say, the most mature mechanism for managing the workflow, and here are some of the benefits that they bring to organizations. First, let's see this tube. I know this is not correct, but somehow by means of this cylinder, what we want to represent is that the capacity of any organization is finite, it is limited, it is determined by the people who work there, by their experience, knowledge, motivation. So we really have to take care of how is the workload, what these people dedicate their time to, if we want to see good results going out of this system, right? And precisely because we want to take care of the people and how we use their time, what they are focused on, we need some means to see what is happening inside the organization, inside the teams, the department. So the Kanban systems are the most appropriate means right now to visualize what the people are doing right now in the team, in the organization. So what is the work in progress? What kinds of types of work they are developing, for example, components, documentation, defects, things like this. Which work items are blocked right now and they deserve attention to be unblocked, to be resolved, these issues. What are the priority levels for some of them? For example, this one, the red one, might have higher priority than this one, the blue one. So we really need this information precisely to be able to visualize and communicate easily to all the people, which is the right work item they have to focus on at this moment. Which of them can come later, and maybe which work items do not deserve their time at all. So in addition to seeing what is in progress, is in process right now in the system, we want to see what is coming next and what would come in the future. And of course, we want to see continuously what kind of work we are finishing, because these are the results that we are delivering. So in addition to helping us to understand how the organization works, starting from team level and building this understanding up to the strategic level, we obtain this fast feedback about what is the situation of all the work that is coming from projects, from services, or from additional activities that are done in the organization. In addition, the Kanban systems help the organizations keep the workload at the level of the capacity. This is absolutely key. You saw in the challenges for some organizations, the excessive workload is a big problem for all the organizations. And right now, precisely because it's without Kanban systems, it's really difficult. It's hard to understand how much is our capacity and how much work we try to carry out in parallel at the moment. Therefore, it's quite natural that project organizations are typically overloaded, a lot overloaded. We have seen organizations who carry out between 7, 10, 12 times more work than their capacity. And the only thing that they do is just switching between one thing and another. And people in such organizations have told me, Teodora, at 8 p.m. in the evening, when I start closing the windows on my computer, I realize sometimes that the email that I started writing at 8 a.m. in the morning is still not finished and not sent. And it's 8 p.m. So what do you think? How people who expect this answer by email from 8 a.m. would think or would feel if at 8 p.m. they do not have it yet? Okay. This is precisely the effect of having the system too much overloaded. So if we use Kanban systems, we obtain this information and we know when we are at the border or we start overloading the systems, and we can take more care about our people. Okay. Okay, something else. In addition, the Kanban systems provide us the data, the flow-related data that we need without any additional work, without manual work, without taking them manually. So we just get all this data from the system. We know how much it takes us to develop a work item, how much time these work items stay in queue, how much time they were blocked, what reason for. So all this information, we get it directly from the Kanban systems. And all this information, of course, helps us get deeper, develop a deeper understanding of the processes, how we work, what are the causes for all these situations that develop in the system. And then we have the information which point of the system we have to touch, we have to improve something in order to obtain better outcomes. It's all about outcomes. We want to improve the outcomes of the system. Okay, so the 4 ingredients of the Kanban project and portfolio management model are these one: systems thinking, flow thinking, developing the culture and developing continuously the culture of collaboration and orientation towards the customer, towards the common purpose of the organization, and using Kanban systems for managing the entire work. In fact, this model, Kanban project and portfolio management, is the extension of the Kanban maturity model, which David Anderson and I developed between 2017 and 2020, like 4 or 5 years of work. And the Kanban maturity model, KMM, is a model about developing organizational agility, and its extension, its flavor, specifications for project organizations is what we are talking about: Kanban project, program, and portfolio management. You can download this guide for free from our website, so you can see how organizations evolve. But this is precisely what I'm going to tell you. So how to do it, how to apply it step by step without introducing drastic changes in the organizations, and seeing benefits, seeing improvement in the outcomes at each step of your progress of the company. The good news about KPPM is that it's not another project management method. So it doesn't mean that now, if you are coming from PMBOK, from Project Management Institute, now you have to forget PMBOK and you have to start studying KPPM. No, it's not like this. It doesn't mean that if you are coming from Agile, from Scrum, now you have to forget about these methods because there is a new one. No, it's not like this. KPPM is just a complement to all the other bodies of knowledge related to project management, because it complements them. It's these practices that help developing visibility, providing fast feedback, creating the means for collecting the right flow-related metrics, using them for achieving better predictability and everything in the context of project management. And when we talk about projects, precisely because especially when we run projects of large duration, big budgets, complex technical solutions, etc., of course, we need to plan these projects, we need to communicate their situation, we need to align the project team and the other project teams towards the purpose of the organization and achieving the objectives of all the projects. We need to monitor continuously the state of the project and adjust it to meet the milestones, to meet the deadlines. Okay? And of course, precisely because we want to develop the adaptability of the organizations, we need to learn and adapt as an organization. Just what I mentioned in the moment ago is that the entire model and all the actions for the organizations are focused on improving the outcomes of the organizations long-term and achieving this improvement in the outcomes in a sustainable manner. And altogether, applying these practices with this continuous focus on improving the outcomes of the organizations, we strengthen this culture of collaboration, purpose orientation, customer orientation for the organizations. And in fact, it's a cycle that it's this reinforcing loop that creates these abilities and strengthens these abilities of the organizations. How does it look like? Okay, so definitely we are talking about some practices that are coming from Kanban and the Kanban maturity model. They are mapped to these activities that are important for project managers: planning, monitoring and adjusting, communicate and align, learn and adapt, and the cultural values. And because we do not just to give you a large list of practices, well, it's not such a large list of practices, but still it could be kind of scary. Well, now we have to learn to apply and adapt many practices. So instead of providing the complete list of practices, we prefer to introduce them step by step. And because this is like in sports, when we start for a first time doing a new sport, we need exercises that are appropriate for our starting situation. But the more we improve, the more advanced exercises we can do. So same for organizations. When they start, we can introduce practices related to their team level. Then we can introduce practices related to connecting teams in an end-to-end flow in order to manage projects end-to-end. Then we start introducing practices related to managing programs, portfolios, strategic objectives. And this is how the complete solution of the organization grows gradually. And in fact, this is how the organization adapts and becomes more agile and more adaptive continuously. So we have these 4 maturity levels. For each one, we have cultural values and a group of practices that help the organizations evolve continuously. Okay, and how do they evolve? What they see as an outcome if they apply this step by step. So let me just briefly explain you this. Well, maturity level 1, companies start with just visualizing teamwork. This is a simple team board. You see, this is the work that has been done. This is the work that these 3 guys are doing right now. And this is the work that they have to start once they have finished some of these tasks here. So yeah, very simple task board, but at least this shared visibility among these 3-4 people helps them create this joint understanding of what we do, why we do it, what is the state of the work, what are the priorities, who needs help, who can help that guy. So they facilitate the collaboration at team level. And in addition, they start creating this sense of belonging to a team. And this is very important, very helpful in critical situations. Who, if not the team, is going to help us? Okay, so absolutely simple but important. Using exactly the same pattern, we can visualize the status of projects. So again, we have this center area of the board, which is the orange one, for work in progress. However, instead of tasks, each card in this case represents a different project. And we can split this column in progress in 3 sub-columns representing the progress of each one of the projects. And in this way, we know what is the status of each one of the projects, how much their progress is, who is leading each one of these projects, and which are the projects that are coming next once we finish at least one of these projects. So very simple pattern for visualizing the status of several projects at once. You can visualize the status of project in a different manner. We can represent a project like this with a bigger card that includes, is there a question or something? No? Okay, I continue. So we can represent a project like this one, a card that includes other cards that represent pieces of work, deliverables, work packages that make part of this project. For example, let's see this project that says develop a project management video course. Okay, so this project includes these cards, these 5 cards, and we see one of them is green. It is this one. So the module of monitoring and adjust is already done. We see 3 other modules that are in orange. This means in project. So these are these 3 cards, and we see this risk management, resource management, and this planning model, which is blocked. And we also see it here, it's blocked. Okay, and we have one model, which is this green one, which is not started yet, and this is the green area of the board. So just at a glance, we can immediately see what is the status of a project and what are the elements and what is how far they are in their process, in the development, in their process. Okay, and we might have here another project, which is this red one with these 3 cards. Here's child cards, and this blue one with this child card. So this is another way to visualize the projects. But the good thing is that we are visualizing also the process, the entire process of developing these deliverables. So we start understanding not only what is the status of the project, but also how far in this process each one of deliverables is. Okay. Well, when we work with project organizations, they never do only projects. Typically, they work on projects and services and some additional work. So this is another board on which you can see the status of different projects, again, with the process, how far in the process each one of these projects is. But you can see that we have another swim lane with work of type incident and support. And maybe these same people who work on the projects, who also fix or resolve incidents, maybe they also help upstream or help their customer, their sales department with the preparation of some offers or some specifications. And therefore, they have a third lane here for this type of work, which is offers and specifications. And you can see that they have 2 offers right now here, again, with the process of developing offers and specifications. So here we have the same group of people who have to somehow visualize how their capacity is distributed between these 3 types of work. And therefore, they want to see all these types of work on the same board. So because if they are working on a project, maybe they won't have enough time for working on incidents. Or alternatively, if they are busy with an offer, they will not, and the offer is urgent, they will not have enough time for working on a project. So if they really want to have a good management of all the work that they carry out, it is appropriate to visualize it on a common board in such a way that they can see all of them together, can see what is the situation and what they have to do, what is requires their attention most now, what can wait a little bit, and maybe what kind of work should be postponed or discarded completely. So the same way, we can continue and visualize the information for different teams of specialists, and we can see in a joint project card, how these different teams are developing and whether they the work progress accordingly. So when they start seeing their work this way, of course, the problem of coordinating teams becomes easier to resolve. I don't say that it disappears, but at least they can understand what is the situation of the entire project, who is doing what has happened in some of these teams, and how these new circumstances, these changes affect the deadlines or affect the progress of the project. And then looking in this picture, having the same understanding of the situation, the conversations change. It's not about who has the blame for a delay or for whatever problem in the project. It is about, within this situation, what can we figure out? We together can think about and what we can propose in order to meet the day and keep working in a smooth manner in the teams. Okay, so being able to see the work in different teams and how it connects and contributes to developing a project or a service is absolutely key for the organizations. And something very important for project organizations is that we need to see two dimensions. We not only need to see, but we want to take advantage of seeing these two dimensions for the project. The first one, of course, is the time dimension, because we want to ensure that projects evolve and meet important dates, milestones, or deadlines, or final delivery dates for the project. But we also want to have feedback about how well project work evolves through the process of executing this project work. So when we start taking advantage of these two dimensions is when project organizations really start making adequate, accurate decisions about how they have to act in particular situations with particular changes, because they have already a very good understanding of what are our expectations with respect to time, with respect to resources, budget, etc., and how well work is going and what is its progress in the process of conducting this work. And in a similar manner, we can continue building the solution up to the strategic initiatives. So I have not included all the levels here, just to make sure that you see something on the image. But you can see, for example, here at the project level, each of these cards, initiatives, represent projects with different deliverables. The deliverables can be, in fact, located in the boards of their teams, but here we have the overview about each one of the projects. And in addition, we know that these projects make part of this program. Okay, these three projects, in fact, are part of this program, and this program exists. We run this program because there is a strategic initiative that has decided that this is important. For example, we might have this strategic initiative to create the most cost-effective AZ product family. Okay. Therefore, as part of this strategic objective, we have defined the program of creating the AZ machine family. This is the program. And therefore, as part of this program, we are running these three projects, which is develop the AZ machine, define the AZ maintenance and support service, and develop this AZ imperfect parts analysis. Okay? And we can continue going down and seeing the status of work for each one of these deliverables. So what we achieve in this manner is a full connection top to bottom from the strategic initiatives through portfolio, through programs, projects, up to the operational level of work. And now we understand why we have certain programs, why we run certain projects, what is their progress, and we feed back information up to the top about the status of these activities from the operational level through project program up to the strategic level. And this is the way precisely to keep all the work in the organization well connected, visualized, and therefore, if there are some obstacles happening at this level, they are automatically communicated up to the strategic level, and then at the entire organization, decisions that help overcoming these obstacles and making sure that we keep progressing towards the common purpose becomes a lot easier, becomes feasible, because we have provided this visualization, we have defined policies about how to manage project work, we have defined policies and criteria about how to prioritize which projects we are going to work now, which later, which we are not going to work now at all, and therefore achieving projects, program, and strategic objectives become a lot straightforward. Okay, and we might have other strategic initiatives that are not product related, that are improvement related, and therefore we might have other projects. But we definitely, as an organization, we need this view of what is the status of the projects, how they are connected, to what are the dependencies between them, and we want to manage them in such an integrated manner if we want to really obtain good results. So I would like you to hear Asier Aguirre. Asier Aguirre is a senior project manager from Ulma Handling Systems, precisely that organization, the CEO of whom said that we want to improve our competitiveness, and therefore we want to improve our project management, and this requires changing the culture. So let me know, let me check if I have shared it correctly. Okay, so now it will be better to see it.
We have Kanban, as I told you before, at all levels. We have projects at a multi-project level that we deal with at a strategical level in the organization, where we see the status of the projects and make decisions, for example, in the event of a resource conflict. But then we also have boards at all levels, even a board simply for a team or an area, a board above a single project. And above all of that, we have the multi-project board. The entire organization, without a doubt, all the boards are linked to each other. That's to say that a change in the low level is reflected in high level and bidirectional. A decision maker at a very high level should have influence at the low level. I think it's important that both from the top down and from the bottom up, that visibility is total and real time.
Okay, so you see, simply constructing, developing this solution really helps them have this visibility and make right decisions. And what I mentioned, that the Kanban systems provide you these flow-related metrics. And what is most important is that these metrics answer three key questions from customer perspective. That the question is when we can deliver something, a result, a project, a work package, a service, whatever. We simply get this data from the Kanban systems, and then we are using graphics like this one, a histogram or a chart that helps us answer the question when we can deliver. For example, if we look, if this could be, for example, particular work type, deliverable, and we see that it takes us between 2, 3, and 60 days, for example, we can see, okay, this is the percentile 85, and we see that it's about 30 days. So I have quite a confidence that we can deliver this within 30 days. Yes, we see that in the past, it took us 40 days, 50 days, 60, up to 70 days, but still these are only 15% of the data. So, okay, we are going to keep it under control. We are pretty sure that we can deliver within 30 days because we see that in 85% of the cases, we did deliver within this time. Can we deliver in 20 days? Yes, of course we can, but we are conscious that we are assuming a larger risk of delay. So it is about making informed decisions. Yes, we can commit to 20 days, but we know that the risk for delay increases. So it's about trading off the risk we want to assume and delivering on customer expectations. The other metrics that the Kanban systems give us automatically is the system lead time. This means answering the internal questions, how much it takes us, how long it takes us to produce a work item or produce a service. So again, it is important to answer it from customer perspective, but also from internal perspective in order to know and to be able to reorganize the resources, the organization, internal organization with flexibility. And the throughput, the other key indicator, is about how much work we are able to deliver within a certain period of time. This is very important both for production, for services. For example, if we know that we are going to have that our capability is to fix, for example, 15 incidents per day, and we know that because of a new delivery, we expect about 50 incidents per day, we have to think about how we respond to such a demand, knowing that our capability is about 50 incidents per day. Okay, so having all this information, and most importantly, having real data that include all the situations when somebody was ill, when there was unexpected blockage and things like this. So all this information is in the data. And when we have this data, we can forecast more precisely because we understand not only the variability of how much time it takes us to deliver a certain work item, but also we understand how much risks we assume with giving a certain estimate to the customer or to the project or to internally to the organization. And here is another interview with Aitori Guren. Aitori Guren is the general manager of Sumabe, a small company, engineering company here in the Basque Country. And this company, they started 10 years ago, precisely 10 years ago. It was in May 2013 when they started managing their projects with Kanban, and currently they are running their entire business like this. They are managing it with Kanban. And listen to him what they have learned.
At first, it was hard to declare things. But when you realize what that brings you back is when you give it the value it has. So yes, you're going to have to work more. You're going to have to declare. You're going to have to enter the tasks, going to do the job. But in return, you have everything under control. From my point of view, it's worth it without a doubt. And you're surprised when you get to see everything that's happening written down. Because as time goes by, I wonder 8 years ago, how did we do it? I see the amount of things that are, and that's impossible to explain and carry all this inside anyone's head. How did we do it? I don't know. But now we are calmer and under control. To achieve the goals, it requires everyone being all together, looking at the same problem. That's what we have finally learned to do. Resources are limited, and all processes have limits, and people have limits. Sometimes deciding for them is deciding between two bad options, but we're going to decide together, and we're going to assume the consequences together. I believe that's what it contributes in some way, looking at the same problem together and making decisions based on data. Kanban gives you the map of everything that's happening. In that sense, I think it's useful, very useful. It's not exclusive, but it's another way of seeing information, complementary.
So you see that 8 years later, they simply can't remember how they used to work 8 years ago. The change has happened gradually without noticing it, but now they have under control and they understand that it is about all of them together looking at the same situation, the same problem, and making decisions together and taking accountability for those decisions. So when we talk about KMM and KPPM, it is a journey for the organizations, and it's a journey that it always starts where the organization is in the current situation. We never recommend making a restructuring, making drastic changes to the process, to the roles of the organization. So organizations always start where they are. Of course, it is very important to know where they want to go. And using KMM or KPPM is precisely the map that they need for doing this journey. And KPPM in particular is the map for project organizations. So overall, when companies use KPPM, what they admit afterwards that they have learned how to develop their adaptability precisely because they make decisions quickly, on time, resolving unexpected issues quickly. They make decisions with confidence, as I said, because we make decisions based on data, based on understanding how we work and what is happening, and also joining these ideas from different perspectives from the people and combining this, integrating the understanding of all the people that contribute to a solution in order to develop the best appropriate approach and solution for the organization in a particular situation. All this improves their predictability, and people are happy. They feel satisfied professionally because they really see how well they do their job and they see the improvement in the outcomes. And since the pandemic, we were working a little bit with a hospital in Barcelona. And precisely in the pandemic, the situation was very critical here in Spain. And the person, Laura Cabalda, from the infections department of the hospital, she told us that using and managing their work with Kanban helped them a lot for organizing and doing the work, of course, but what was very important, key for them, is that it helped them to take care of the mental health of the people, precisely because of criticality of that situation. So keeping everything in order and taking clearly the information about the work that they are doing was really helping them to take care of their mental health. Okay, so very shortly, this is about KPPM. You can download the guide, you can see this poster there. You can download quite some case studies that we have or see the interviews with companies. Some of them we have in Spanish, others we have translated to English. We have a 2-day course and a KPPM program for companies. And with this, thank you very much. And I'm waiting for your questions. I think it will be more interesting if we chat a little bit.
I think this truly amazing session deserved at least one question from somebody. If anyone has any question, please be free to raise hand or just to ask question in chat. If you're not in situation to unmute yourself, it would be more than appreciated. So go ahead, guys. Now it's time to ask any question. You can also write in chat if you are not able to ask any question. So if while we are waiting for any other question, Teodora, may I ask you any question?
Of course.
Maybe this is an awkward question, but let it be like that, because time we are living right now is awkward. So I think the question fits with that situation. So we heard a lot of useful things about Kanban system and its values, actually, how it is hard at the beginning to start working as once, and how actually it's easier at the end if there is an end. But in a period where artificial intelligence start consuming almost every single part of our, at first, business life, then private, I would say, can you tell me, do you see the future of artificial intelligence connected with Kanban?
Connected with Kanban or connected with decision making?
With decision making and with the system we are creating and respecting with Kanban right now.
I assume, I have not tried it, but I assume that if you ask the AI about what structure of a Kanban board for a particular business or team they could suggest, you are going to get some answer. I assume so. But I'm absolutely sure that you should better look at this answer with critical view, critical thinking, and review it and decide yourself whether you want to take this as a correct decision or not. And if you want to adjust it, of course, you can adjust. But I assume that it can shorten your time or our time to making appropriate decisions. At least you can get some possible alternative approaches. Then it will be easier to compare and make decisions instead of just taking your time and thinking that, okay, maybe I can come up with an idea. So in this aspect, I see it could help. And for sure, in taking some considering alternative approaches in some situations, it might be helpful to maybe to use the AI for studying, at least discovering the options. But afterwards, I still believe that we have to think with our heads and our minds, even if we use proposals from the artificial intelligence, and make our decisions and not just let be guided or decided by it. But this is
somewhere I read somewhere that we should start presuming artificial intelligence as a member of a team. So it would be very interesting in future to collaborate with artificial intelligence. So that was my question to you. How do you see that time, which is very close, I would say?
It could be. It could be. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I would not just trust immediately just because the artificial intelligence has something. I would not take it for granted and for right. But yeah, as a team member, maybe it's an appropriate solution.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, is there any questions? Any other questions?
Well, if there's nobody else, maybe I will just throw one.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious, maybe I see it wrong, but when we talk about all this kind of decision making and having all these boards, even at the upper levels, to try to put in some more control, like it said in the video, I'm just wondering if we don't really risk to try to de-empower teams when trying to do this, and just which is just something that we've been trying to do with this kind of agility, is just to empower teams and to give more decision power to the teams. And I'm just wondering if we're not just trying to kind of reverse this effect. Maybe I see it wrong, but maybe you can enlighten me.
I see it completely the opposite. I see that this is the best manner to empower team, because we can empower team if we provide a safe environment for them, if we provide good guiding policies, so they can take decisions quickly with confidence and be able really to react adequately, quickly and adequately, precisely the agility that we are looking for, understanding the entire context. Otherwise, if they don't have this information about the entire context, two things happen. Either they say, well, I prefer not to take decisions, not to be proactive, because I have very limited information only from the context of my team, so I can decide, but up to a certain level, and therefore I do not want to risk to act proactively, right? Or in other cases, they can decide, yes, we are empowered, we can start making decisions, and because they don't have the entire context, the entire information, they might make decisions that are not fully correct, and it's not because they did it wrong, something wrong, simply because they were lacking this information. So when we provide this information top down, bottom up, and end to end in the project, it's not to de-empower the teams, it's to provide them the information and allow them to really react to appropriately, to empower them even more than without providing this information. And in fact, empowering the teams when they have all the information they need for making decisions, this is what helps the organization to act as one entity, because all the pieces act adequately. So I see it completely the other way, right?
Okay. So by just creating this transparency, you just reinforce the communication between the teams.
Exactly. Yes. And you know what's happened in the companies? They start observing that precisely because they have provided more information, they need less meetings. They need less communication, because big part of the information is communicated automatically by the Kanban board. So if they go a little bit up or down, they have this information. So they don't need even to meet and chat, because they see. And this facilitates the fast movement of the organization as one entity, precisely because the teams are empowered, they have the information they need, and they really react correctly, are able to react. And not only react, they are able to act proactively. So when they anticipate something, because they are empowered, therefore they can do something about it. Otherwise, they will have to wait to be informed or to be allowed to do something.
Okay, I guess it's kind of transformation that has to happen from the top down, I guess, because
exactly.
Usually it's really at the upper levels that they really try to control this kind of things, and trying to open this has to start from the top, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The transformation has to start top down. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any more question, guys? First time, second time, third time, sold. Okay, I guess we reached the end of tonight's session. There is no words, Teodora, to describe greatness of tonight's session. Thank you very much. We really enjoyed, I'm pretty sure. And I say that on behalf of Agile Humans and in my personal name, and I am pretty sure that all our tonight's participants will agree with me in this comment. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your knowledge you actually spread tonight. And I hope that we are going to have opportunity to see you in some other event, maybe alive in Serbia, who knows.
Yeah.
But thank you one more time for your time. And guys, on behalf of Agile Humans, thank you that you've been part of tonight's session. See you next month, and have a great Friday and weekend. So Thank you, guys. See you next time. Teodora, one more
Thank you
time.
very much. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you again. Maybe live someday. Do visit.
Bye, guys.
Bye.